Hey, what is up mortals, it is James Heifer here, and before we get into today's video, there's a few things I'd like to say. Firstly, the channel's been doing so well lately, we may be moving to, I think it's 5 videos a week, but yeah. So, if you're interested in seeing when we're uploading, just make sure that you're subscribed. We upload at the same time most days. If you feel like supporting the channel on Patreon, please go and do so. Your support does mean a lot to us. If you can't afford to support us on Patreon, leave a comment in the comment section below. It could be as simple as saying first. And yeah, let's get into the video. Part 10 of What If Izuku Was the Son of All For One. After placing on their gym uniforms, everyone in Class 1A goes outside and sits in the stands, watching as Izuku and Todoroki come out ready to fight. The two of them stare at each other. Todoroki tells Izuku that he can forfeit now if he wants, or he could lose, which makes Izuku cocky. Do you think he'll be the same as before? With this new quirk of mine? I'll easily defeat you. The fight begins and both of them immediately go on the offensive. Todoroki slams his leg against the arena, creating a huge wave of ice which attacks at Izuku. Izuku predicts this, blasting the ground, jetting himself over it, easily dodging it. He then retaliates with a blast towards Todoroki, which Todoroki manages to block. The ice actually gets sliced in half, like a knife going through butter. Everyone watches in awe as Izuku is just, well, maneuvering around the area rather effectively. It's like he's imitating Bakugo. The students and teachers watch as Izuku and Todoroki are pretty much evenly matched. Although Izuku has no defensive capabilities, he's countering just about every attack. Todoroki can't really keep up with Izuku as he bounces around the tournament, using his lasers to jet around and just dodging. He yells for Izuku to come down and uses an ice pillar to try and stop Izuku. This makes Izuku grin, yelling that Todoroki should try going all out, and underestimating him would end horribly for him. From the constant ice pillars, Izuku uses them to bounce around, using them to his advantage. Use your fire quirk! It's not your father's, Izuku yells at, mocking Todoroki. Todoroki has a flashback to his mother, and from this his body begins to emit fire. He lets out a huge inferno, which Izuku barely manages to dodge, grinning at the fact that he finally got the whole of Todoroki, and not just half of him. Now it's finally a fair fight. Izuku's hand starts to spark as they glow red. He glides around the glaciers like a batter. He's almost perfectly imitating Bakugo with his explosions. He leaps over the fire that Todoroki fires at him. As Izuku plants both feet on the ground for the first time in quite a while in this fight, he aims both hands at Todoroki and yells to the heavens, "Firework bullets!" From his hands a bunch of red beams come off, flying out towards Todoroki. They're moving quite quickly. Todoroki almost has no chance to react. He can't dodge. He starts to try and block with an ice pillar. This managed to block a few of them, but of course some of them hit him. They pretty much tear his clothes apart and begin to badly damage him. Izuku's hands are charred. Todoroki tells Izuku that he needs to leave and get his hands healed, but Izuku yells that won't be what's gonna happen. I won't lose, and he slams one of his fists onto the glacier behind him. He screams, "I am tired of losing to everyone around me!" His hands then fire blue beams towards Todoroki, which Todoroki defends with his fire. An inferno blast fires out towards Izuku, moving faster and faster. This causes Izuku to panic. It's so big, and he can't dodge it. He doesn't think that he can block it, so he fires a blast towards the ground to jet himself backwards, making him just barely able to dodge. In a panic, he grabs a glacier behind him and pulls himself towards it, holding on. Slowly, the glacier begins to fall over. It begins to descend towards the out-of-bounds area, and Izuku begins to panic. He fires his laser beam behind it, pushing himself up, but Todoroki's glacier on the ice on the other side is just surrounding them. They begin to slam into each other, and Todoroki just punches Izuku in the face as hard as possible. Izuku finally realizes that he's actually been hit and he falls to the ground, his face smoking. He's out of bounds. Izuku slams his hand on the ground, blasting the ground. Then he slowly picks himself up and walks over to Recovery Girl as everyone prepares for the third round. Round 3 starts. Todoroki versus Ida. This goes the same as normal, with Todoroki pretty much bodying Ida. Bakugo versus Tokiyami goes the same, with Bakugo using full body explosion to easily wipe him out of the arena. Then Bakugo goes up against Todoroki. Todoroki knows that Bakugo has a power similar to what All Might has, so this will be a test for him. A test to prove if he can beat All Might. Bakugo is also eager. He wants to beat Todoroki and prove that he's the strongest. Now that Endeavor is number 1, he needs to show Endeavor that his kid's nothing to him. Both Bakugo and Todoroki immediately go for each other. Bakugo powering up into full body, and he just punches straight through the ice pillars, shattering them. Everyone's completely shocked. They could barely see either of the two moving. Bakugo leaps at Todoroki with a look of just pure rage and anger, but he's smiling, and this just causes a pressure wave of just absolute fear over Todoroki. It's like a mix of All For One, Endeavor, and All Might all in one. He's almost an unstoppable force. Bakugo goes to slam into Todoroki, and he's expecting a fire blast, but instead Todoroki creates an ice wall in front of him and tries to block it. This proves inefficient, as Bakugo punches right through it, sending a huge explosion towards Todoroki, which sends him flying backwards. Damaged from the huge attack, he barely has time to save himself from falling out of bounds. Bakugo streams for Todoroki to use his fire side. It's pissing him off. Todoroki should not be holding back. Todoroki doesn't respond simply by firing a huge wave of fire. Instead, he uses his glacier just like before. Bakugo just blasts right through it. A sadistic look on Bakugo's face as he just jumps at Todoroki. He grabs Todoroki by the back of the neck and just slams him into the ground face first. He shouts for Todoroki to die and lets out a huge explosion. Todoroki actually accidentally flings himself out of the area by releasing a small burst of fire. He's still very badly damaged from the fight, but he's not quite out of the arena yet. Bakugo blasts himself up into the air as Todoroki's flying through it. The two drift throughout the air. Bakugo uses explosions to push himself backwards, and Todoroki attacks with a small ice barrier. The arena's almost completely destroyed at this point. You can still tell where the borders are for it. Bakugo quickly reacts with a full-out explosion blast. Final explosion! He places both hands together and just fires out a massive explosion that just tears what remains of the arena apart and slams Todoroki against the wall. Because of the recoil on it, Bakugo only barely clipped Todoroki. As it blasted Todoroki out of the arena, the blast hit the actual arena itself, the walls of it, and just blasted right through it. You can see the marks where it was just completely and utterly destroyed. It was almost like Vegeta against Semi-Perfect Cell. Well, Perfect Cell. This means that Bakugo won the final round at the sports festival. After winning, Bakugo goes to the infirmary where he sees Kirishima. Kirishima's arm is in a sling. He sits up on the bed. Bakugo asks Kirishima how he's doing, and Kirishima smiles. Never better! He coughs in pain. His personality is just rock solid at this point, but his arm is definitely not. Recovery Girl confesses that his arm may never be the same after this. He might need some sort of permanent cast, or some sort of supports for it. Although saddened, the two of them get up and they eventually go down to the support course to see if there's anything that can help them out. Kirishima, Bakugo, and Kaminari all go down to the support class. Kirishima was going down there for, well, the support. Bakugo went down there to help out his friend, and Kaminari tagged along because he could. They all go over to see Hatsume and Power Loader. They're hard at work, building different things. They ask Power Loader if he has anything for them that Kirishima could use. They explain the situation and that he was damaged in a fight. After thinking about it, two technologies come to mind. They build a metal arm, well, a case for one, and they redesign it so that it actually fits over his arm. They warn him that he should be careful when interacting with things like doors, pencils, people. They all might be damaged by this if, well, they're not careful. It's kind of like a permanent hardened part of himself to make up for, well, his arm being slightly weaker. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. There's a few small notes I'd like to make on this. So, firstly, Izuku is starting to get a bit frustrated. I hope you all notice that as well. He isn't angry, well, not angry at people yet, but he's definitely not himself. It's like he's been pulled in two different directions and he doesn't have anyone to actually guide him. Anyway, that's just a little bit of development for him, and you'll see what happens in the next video. Don't forget to do the things that you do, like liking the video, commenting on the video, making sure that you're subscribed, and yeah. Peace out, mortals. Have an amazing day. If you feel like supporting us, support us. If you don't, well, don't. Peace.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light